I think there's a lot of people who mistake hard work with hustle. If
Okay.
you were starting over, a lot of people, first thing they would do is go out and try to find a job. I would leave my house as soon as it's likely for me to find somebody awake. I would go knock on their door and convince them to buy whatever it is I'm selling. That's hustle. That's not the same thing as hard work.
This one guy said, what's the craziest thing you've ever done for money? Work 40 hours a week. If you work 40 hours a week for yourself, how much more successful could you be?
What's up? I'm Keith.
And this is D, and this is the Defiant Life Podcast, where we defy the laws of mediocrity. And we back for another one.
Back again.
Another one. Back like we never left. All right, quick question for you, man. So I know we talked about, we talk about real estate, we talk about business, we talk about life, we talk about all this stuff. But I was watching an episode of, was it like Undercover Billionaire or Millionaire, where Grant Cardone had to start from scratch and build $1 million business in 90 days or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, I wonder if I could. So anyway, it got me thinking about it. And I want to ask you, if you had to start from scratch today, not today, today, and build real estate portfolio, like what would your process, what would that look like?
Okay. I think if I had to start from scratch right now, the first thing that I would do is, you mean like no knowledge, or I got my knowledge still?
I hadn't thought that far.
So like in Undercover Billionaire, they had to start over, but they still had their knowledge. They didn't have their name, but they had their knowledge. So
let's say you got your knowledge.
Okay, I got my knowledge.
Yeah,
okay. So just for people who don't have any knowledge who are getting started, I think that the first thing you got to do is educate yourself, because you can start, like I could give you the step-by-step plan, and I could say, okay, this is what I would do first, second, third, whatever. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to lose money. You're going to lose other people's money at that point. You're not going to run the business properly. So that's first thing. But if I had to start right now, what I would do is first I would start networking with people who are in the business. I would go around and I would go to like small mobile home parks and apartment complexes in towns that I liked to invest in cities and markets that I liked. And I would go talk to the tenants and ask them. I've done this before actually to get deals. What I did was I just drove by a mobile home park, saw some people in there working on a rehab, stopped by, hey, is this place for rent? Oh, not yet. We're getting it ready. Okay, cool. When it'll be ready? Probably another week or so. I was like, all right, cool. Who can I talk to about renting it? They're like, oh, here's the owner's phone number. Boom. Perfect. Nice. Called him, made him an offer on the park.
Okay. Dang.
So
undercover boss style. I see you.
So that's what I would do first. I would go out and network. Well, I wouldn't necessarily, I would ask them if they want to sell, but also network with people who are in the game right now.
Okay. So let me stop you right there, first of all. So I promise you, before you had any knowledge and someone said, hey, what would you do if you wanted to get started into real estate? You would never think to start out by networking with people first. That's so interesting that you said that.
Yeah.
Why would you start off with that?
Well, a few reasons. First of all, you can find deals that way.
Yeah.
You can figure out who owns property that you're interested in. You can go talk to them, but you can also learn from those people. And they also have leads on other things that you can go do. So there's tons of ways that can benefit you. You can also just like if I had no income at all, I would just not even try to buy their property. I might just go in and say, hey, I can help you with this, this, and this, because I've done this before.
Nice.
And then maybe something bad happened. I lost it all, whatever. So like if I had nothing, but I had all my knowledge and all the skills I've acquired, then I would go in and say, listen, I noticed that you were doing this and this, like after building a relationship with them. I noticed you were doing this and this. I think I could help you with this. And I think we could grow this bigger if you don't want to sell it. Maybe we can, partner up, team up. Maybe you could just pay me to come in and do this thing for you, whatever that looks like. So there's lots of ways you can work that. But the first thing I would do is just try to find deals that way. I think a lot of people get held back because they think, well, I need to go find some money first. It's good to have leads on where you're going to fund, how you're going to fund these deals. It's good to have that. That's fine. But I think if you got a good deal, especially if you got experience, but if you got a good deal and the deal is good enough, even if you've never done it before, you can probably sell it to an investor and convince them to come in with you or whatever.
So check this out. That's a really good point that you're making, and I think it's one that you, at this point in your life, you might kind of gloss over, because I think to people that are watching this that are completely brand new to real estate, a lot of them probably are thinking like, okay, yeah, let me save up enough money so that the other day I was, I think I might have been at a grocery store. I can't remember where I was. But I started a conversation with the guy that was close to my age. I had a hat on that he liked. We started some small talk, and I'm always trying to network with people.
Yeah,
it's not even networking. I just like people, so I just want to start a conversation, right? And long story short, he was like, "So what you do?" I said, "I'm actually in the real estate coaching space, right? Showing people how to buy and scale multifamily property."
Yeah,
he was like, "Oh man," he said, "I almost have enough capital to get into doing that." You know, so I was like, okay, well, I was like, you'd be surprised. I was like, let me get your information. Let's have a conversation. You'd be surprised at how much more, how little money you need to get started into real estate investment. Yeah. Like, I want to throw some stuff at you. I want to pick your brain. I want to talk to you. I want to give you some information, and it's all free. You know, information is free at some, and then at that point, I'm probably trying to sell them on the course and everything. Shameless plug. Y'all can click right here for the link below. So, but back to my point, most people I think probably think that way. Is as far as real estate investment is concerned. Yeah. So, but
most people do.
Most people do. Yeah. But now that you have the knowledge and you're made privy to the information, you said I wouldn't even. It was a secondary thought. You said I wouldn't even try to think about where to get the money or how to act, or try to raise the money. And most people aren't even thinking about outside of themselves when it comes to having the money for real estate investment. Anyway, I just want to point that out real quick, because that's something that most people are gonna be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think the first thing, if I had nothing else and I was just starting over from scratch and I had to go into real estate, I would start by trying to find an amazing deal somewhere. So I would go and talk to tenants. Hey, who's your landlord? How can I get in touch with them? I'm interested in the property. I wouldn't say I want to buy it. I would just say I'm interested in maybe a rental, something like that. Like, hey, I just want to get some information about this property. You got their number. A lot of times, if it's a smaller property, especially, or like a smaller town, then and I'm specifically talking about multifamily. I probably wouldn't go into single family stuff. I'd probably just go straight back into multifamily. Yeah. Although there's nothing wrong with doing single family. It's just I think I like the multifamily space more opportunity there. So I would go in, try to get in touch with owners and see if I can convince them to sell, and then find a really good deal. You do that enough, you'll find a good deal, and it won't cost anything. So then I would go out and find the money. So after that, I have a lot of like groups online that I'm part of, stuff like that, and I'd probably go in there and say, hey, I got this deal. I'd go down my list of people I think would be good investors, call all of them. Hey man, I got this deal. You interested in coming in with me? Especially people who know that I have the credibility and the background and the track record and all that stuff. I'd probably call them, say, hey, look, got this deal going on. I actually have a lot of people who try to give me money all the time because they know that I've done it before and they got some money and they don't really know how to do it. So I have no doubts that I could raise whatever the capital needed for the property. And I would just go in and say, okay, here's my offer.
Yeah.
Got the money, whatever we got to do at this point, try to work out a seller finance deal, or, go to the bank, whatever. If I didn't have any credit, I might try to work out a seller finance deal or get somebody to come in and put up their credit for the deal. And then I would repeat the process. I think that's like pretty much how I would start. And then I'd start building teams, start building management, maintenance teams, the whole operation staff.
Yeah.
So that I can go out and just acquire more property. So it's the same thing that I'm doing. I would just do that. So
and it's funny that you said you would do the same thing that you're doing now, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that stuff that you just talked about. That is correct. So okay. All right.
The only difference is right now I'm putting some of my own capital into some deals.
Yeah.
Because I have the money and I want to do it, but I certainly. You don't have to have that. You can definitely go out. If you have the knowledge, that's what's really important. You got to get the knowledge. You got to get the education. If you have that, then all the rest of that stuff can fall into place pretty easily.
So is it safe to say that, let's just say 18-year-old Keith, and you were given $25,000 by 39-year-old Keith and said, invest this wisely, right? You would invest that in education at that point, in real estate education?
If I had the knowledge right now,
if you didn't,
if I was
anything,
18, I didn't know anything but baseball. So I'd have spent it on baseball cleats and gloves.
But if 39-year-old Keith came to you and said, "Hey, you need to learn about. Trust me, you need to."
I probably would have bought a hemp necklace
and a toe ring.
I would have just bought the beads and the hemp, and then I would have made the necklace. Whatever it is.
You would have bought a magic. Start doing your magic shows.
No, not at 18. I wasn't into that.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah.
I could finger knit a belt for you, or whatever you want.
Pause. But anyway, nothing wrong with that, by the way. But that is hilarious. Okay, so to
now
me,
I can actually knit you a hat, though.
Yeah.
So,
my daughter needed me a hat. I wear it sometimes. It's so comfortable. Yeah, man.
I knitted my father-in-law a hat for Christmas a couple years ago.
Does he wear it?
Hell no. I'm sure he does it, but he laughed. I laughed. I don't know if he laughed.
So did you take the knitted hat and wipe your tears after he laughed at you?
Well, I don't know that he laughed. I think everybody else laughed.
Okay.
So, anyway.
So was he the reason for the teardrops on your guitar?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I missed all of that stuff because I was worried about finger knitting. But go ahead.
What I'm saying is, if 39-year-old Keith came to 18-year-old Keith and said, "Here's $25,000. You need to learn everything you can about real estate."
Yeah.
Right. And then at that point, obviously you would probably invest in your education and probably just get started right then. And who knows?
You gotta invest in education first.
So that's what you would tell an 18-year-old Keith.
Yes. I would say, listen, learn everything you can. Invest this money in yourself. Don't put it in property. Invest this money in getting the education that you need. And then you can find deals. You can figure out how to fund the deals. You know how to run and manage the deals. It's the process is not that hard once you understand it.
Yeah.
But if you don't understand it, you're just going to lose that money. So,
because think about it, like you said, you went to college for 15 years. You said
at least
30.
And, I don't know. It was actually about 10 years if you put it all together.
Right.
So
okay, so 10 years give or take. And even if you had learned a concept a year or so, or a couple of concepts a year while having a regular job, instead of going to college, you still would have been let's just say you did it for 5 years.
Oh my God.
You would have saved so much money and been so much better overall for that.
If I had started when I was 18.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It's this stuff, it's compounding in a lot of ways. So if you start younger but I didn't know anything about real estate at that time. I didn't even know that it was an option. So it's not like a, bad decision or whatever. It wasn't even an option back then. The internet was like barely a thing. So,
yeah.
So we still had dial-up. I remember having dial-up in my college dorm room actually. So anyway.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, I think that if I had that education when I was younger, I probably could be 10 times farther than I am now. So
if you chose,
I chose that
right. Okay, so then my next question is, so like I said, you starting over from scratch.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have the same net worth. Don't have the same money in your bank account now. Start from scratch as you do currently in the present real lifetime. Right. So how are you going to survive in the meantime? You don't have you don't have money in your bank account, and how are you going to also still build this first real estate portfolio? You going to get a job somewhere? What you going how are you going to do it?
So, if I had the knowledge I have today, still on that.
Okay.
Yeah. I would wrap these two things together. What I would do is go and sell pressure washing or some kind of service like that, and I would make some quick cash that way. I would then use that as leverage to meet people who are already doing this.
Ooh.
And then I would go in and start talking about, what we can do to improve things if they didn't want to sell. And then I would try to work for one of those people, possibly doing like a property or project management or something that's in the space, show them value by helping them grow their business in a way. And then as I'm looking for deals and then, eventually it's not going to take very long to become full time in real estate as an investor.
Right.
After that. So the first time I did it, it took me less than 2 years, year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So to become full time in that, or to be able to retire, quit my job.
Right.
So
all your expenses paid by your assets.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't take long, I think, to do that. But I would try to get my foot in the door with some kind of service to make money as well to survive in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, even if I found a great deal day one, it's going to take 2 months to close. It's going to take time. So I got to live in those 2 months. Right?
And that's what I was trying to get at. So people that have jobs now, they can still do this even though they have a job.
100%. Yeah. I would go and probably like something like pressure washing. I go door to door. I go to multifamily properties and just be like, hey, I can help you with this or that or whatever it is. I have these skills. Like I would try to get on staff somewhere and then try to work my way into ownership through that. Probably is what I would do.
That's not a bad idea, man. Hope y'all taking notes. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I thought about this question also.
Yeah. What would you do if you had to start over?
Mm-hmm. And I still have my knowledge of what I know. The limited knowledge that I have. Okay. What you drinking, man? You good?
I don't even know what this is.
Oh, man. Okay.
I think it's a macchiato.
Okay. Well, you're looking at it like you got.
I'm trying to see if there's anything left. Kind of dark.
Oh, okay. So what I would do, I would definitely, and if I had to build a real estate portfolio, what I would do is something kind of similar to what you said about the whole service-based thing. I would, because I would have to make some money, right? So I'm good with my hands. I'm decent with my hands. I would get some kind of job doing construction or remodeling or something like that, just so I can make enough money to survive and live first. And then what I would do is I would start wholesaling houses so that I can make money and learn and network with real estate investors, right? With end buyers, right? So wholesaling a little bit bigger ticket type of thing, but also if I'm assigning my contract over to an end buyer, I would try to get into that network and find some end buyers and people that's in the multifamily space, and then start the whole process from there, type of thing. Yeah. And the same process and be like, hey, so, and then once I got a network of people, then I would start looking for. So my process would have been a little bit different, Yeah. And I like the way you approached it, right? Yeah. Because deals come and go very quickly. Good deals are hard to find. Once you find them, you got to be able to move on them and stuff like that. So you actually locking down the deal is a great idea. And if it's a good deal, somebody's going to take it. They're going to run with it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think my process would have been a little bit different, I would go get into the group of people. I'm a wholesaler. I remodel your house and everything, but I'm getting to the other side of the table, of this round table. I'm moving to a different position. I'm doing some wholesaling, cool, build a relationship, build rapport that way. And then once they know me and everything, and we're talking and whatever type of stuff, then I would try to move into the, like, I'm about to get into the multifamily, saying,
yeah,
I can help you, and like make more money pretty much, just down to earth type of thing. And then I would start actively looking for multifamily properties and stuff.
I think if you're starting out in pretty much anything, the goal would be to add value to somebody else who's already doing the thing that you want to do. So like if you could find an investor and go in and say, look, I'm good at this, and this, I can come in and help you with that stuff. Try to add value to their business or try to add value to whatever they're doing. Then they're going to have a lot more respect for you. You're going to be able to go a lot farther. You're going to be able to network, find new people who you can help, invest with, whatever. If I was doing something like, if I had nothing and I was starting over from scratch and I wasn't involved in real estate, I think what I would do is like, I would use my sales ability to go in and like try to either sell something for somebody else or sell a service for myself.
I see where you at.
So like you can start a business with nothing really. Like you can go in and just you can start a cleaning business or like a pressure washing or like whatever. You don't need very much at all to start. If you know how to sell and you know how to do some marketing, like even just guerrilla marketing where you don't have to pay anything. You're just going door. I went door. So I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
You probably remember in college I had a business called Hasty Haul.
I do remember the big yellow moving truck.
Yeah, that's right. So what happened was I saw a commercial for College Hunks hauling junk. And we had been talking about like trash pickup service, and we're like, man, these people out in the county don't have any trash pickup. Like they still had to drive their stuff to a dump, like a dumpster.
Wow.
And so we were like, man, we can get into this business. And so we started talking to some people around town. They're like, man, you need like $2-3 million to start this company. And we're like, oh, well. And then I saw a College Hunks hauling junk commercial. I was like, we can do that. Like, I'm a college hunk.
Right.
So we spent $3,000 on an old Penske truck.
Okay.
And we went door to door with flyers. We actually got in trouble because we were if nobody answered the door, we would put the flyer in the mailbox.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Yeah, well, we figured that out after the mailman stopped us. He was mad. I was like, sorry, man, didn't know. Then he drove off and we just kept doing it. Yeah. So, so, but the first day we did it, we found, I think this might have been our first customer too. We went up, knocked on this old guy's door. We're like, hey, man, you got any like trash you need hauled off, anything like that? And he was like mad, like, get off my lawn, you know? And so we were like walking away, and he's like, maybe we gave him a card and he called us. Something happened, like, anyway, like not long after we had met him and he was all mad at us. Mm-hmm. He called or talked to us in some way. I don't remember how he flagged us down, but he was like, you know, I got this old hot tub. And he's like, how much would you charge me to haul that off? Yeah. So we went and looked at it and we're like, all right, we'll charge you $200 to get rid of it. He's like, $200, like, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, well, you know, this thing's heavy. It was like wooden stuff on the outside of it. And like, yeah, this whole thing. And so he's like, he was like, well, all right, fine. You know, we kind of like talked him into it. So then we're loading it up. He was like, oh man, that really is heavy. It was like hard work, you know. And he was like watching us do it, putting it in our truck. Yeah. So I think he gave us a little tip or something. So, okay. So we took it. Then we posted it on Craigslist back in the day and sold it for like another maybe, I don't know, $400 or $500. So we wound up making like $700-800 off of that. Wow. Which for us in college was like, we were like on our way, you know. What?
Like, hey, call up Shark Tank right now. We gotta...
So we did that for a summer. But it cost us $3,000 to start it. Yeah. So like I put in $1,500. This other guy put in $1,500, which I think I got from my parents as like a food allowance. And I was like, well, I'm gonna put it into this. Right. So I did that, and that was like, you know, we could have done it for cheaper. We could have rented it. We could have gone out. This is how I would do it if I had nothing. Okay. If I was going to do that business, which I'm not necessarily recommending that. I'm just saying what I would do now is I would go to the houses. I would make a few sales. I would try to go through in one day and make 2 or 3 sales. And I would go rent a U-Haul truck and I would go get the stuff and take it and dump it. Mm. So, but we did that for a summer. We went out and we moved people's stuff. We figured out why moving companies have minimum fees because like we charge like $100 an hour or something, which for college kids, again, that was like, we were like big time in it.
Yeah.
But we would get a lot of calls from people because we didn't have any minimum. Everybody else did. Uh-huh. So we get a lot of calls from people. They're like, I got this one piece of furniture. I can't get down the stairs. Mm-hmm. So I remember one time we moved this armoire. It was on the 2nd floor. And we're like, hey, we charge by the hour. So however long it takes us to get it down, that's what it'll be. And she's like, well, it's one piece. So probably 1 hour or whatever. We're like, yeah, you know, we'll see. We couldn't get it out the door. We couldn't get it down the stairs. That thing was like 500-600 pounds. It was humongous. We were like covered in sweat, torn shirt, like it was awful. Oh. So we charged her like $400. It took us like 4 hours to get it out. And she was mad. We're like, I'm sorry, you can look at the security camera if you want to. We had to move.
She didn't micromanage y'all.
No, she was gone. Yeah. She had left that, like she wasn't living there anymore. She was gone. She moved everything but that one piece. Oh, because it was the heaviest thing. So we had to move it to her new house.
Oh, wow.
So she was like, "Yeah, I'll pay these guys $100." It wound up being like $500 because it took us forever. We did not think we were going to get that thing down the stairs. It was awful. We moved a gun safe up to the 2nd floor. For somebody, that thing had to have been 800 pounds. I don't know how heavy it was, but it was so heavy. Oh my God. One of us on the bottom pushing, the other one's pulling from the top. It was terrible. And then we moved a piano for somebody. Like it was that kind of stuff because we were dumb and we didn't charge a minimum.
Bro, listen, it was all the stuff that the moving companies left.
That's exactly what happened. They're like, no, we can't get that.
Yeah.
Call Hasty Hall.
Sing in the reserves. Yeah.
We went to an apartment complex.
Okay.
And so, you know, most apartment complexes have these rules where people can't dump stuff.
Okay.
So like, or they can't. They have to use a dumpster. They can't just leave stuff out.
Right.
So we went around to all the apartment complexes. We're like, hey, somebody leaves a couch or something like that out there. Give us a call. We'll come haul it off. You charge the tenant. So that's what we would do. And we had a couple of apartment complexes. Nice. They call us like, hey, we got a couple of couches outside. We'd be like, all right, $500. Go get it. Haul it off to the dump and dump it. Yeah. They didn't care because they're charging the tenant anyway. So,
nice. Okay. Get that security deposit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was cool. We did that a couple times. We moved a couple of people. Our truck broke down pretty much every single time because it was a $3,000 Penske truck.
Yep.
Probably had 500,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
But it was cool. So if I was starting over, I'd probably do something like that. But I would do it a lot smarter.
Line up a whole lot of things, and then go ahead and use that money
and knock it out.
Get a deposit. Use that money to rent. Yeah,
exactly.
So this is what I'm gathering. This is what I was getting at, and the reason why I even bring this up is because since you have more information, you move smarter, you move wiser, right? And when you're young, and like one of my favorite sayings is, "Youth is wasted on the young."
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
And you don't know what you don't know. But it's funny that when you're 17, 18, 21, 25, you think you know it all. I was having a conversation with my kids the other day. I was like, man, I remember when I was 9, I was like, when I get to double digits, y'all can't tell me nothing. Right. And I'm like, I'm a 10-year-old kid. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, well, when I'm 13, when I'm 16, all these milestones, and I'm not even 40 yet. And now I'm just getting to the point. I'm like, I still don't know nothing. Yeah. I know a little bit about a little bit.
Right. Yeah, right? That's true.
Type of thing. So if we can some kind of way, this might sound, I was about to say, this might sound moronic, but if we can think retroactively right now, right? So a lot of times we say stuff like, man, if I knew then what I know now, like what does it take for me to know now what I need to know now? So when I look back, I was like, man, that was a smart decision. I don't have too many of those moments right now. So the way we can do that, the quick life hack is pay for the education, right?
Yeah.
That's
what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing. So I think, it sounds like we're just plugging our program, kind of are, but
we're not.
But it's actually,
but
but if you want to click the link, you can. No, but it's true though. Like I have paid for that knowledge because you don't have to make the same mistakes that everybody else makes. It's good to have some of those lessons though. You have to have failures because it doesn't matter what you do. Like you always learn the lesson better if you go through it.
Yeah.
But especially when you're starting out and you don't necessarily have the money to lose, it's good to learn from somebody else's mistakes so you don't have to make those. You're going to make other ones.
Brand new mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's okay. At least you can avoid some of those other obstacles that everybody else had to jump over. So I think that's an important thing. But
because here's the thing. You might as well pay for it now, because if you don't pay for it up front, you're going to pay for it during the process. And it's a lot higher game. It's a lot higher stakes. It's a lot more expensive because you're paying for it in your time and your stress and your health and everything else. So just go ahead and pay up front. And then another thing too, I know we talked about it before, but it really is worth it. And that's why I like what you said about networking first, getting around some people.
Yeah.
So that you not only make some money, find some end buyers, find some investors, but to learn the game.
Yep.
Because there's one thing to have information. There's another thing to learn the game.
Yeah.
Well,
what you're saying is a good point. I think for somebody who's just starting out and they don't have a lot of connections, like I said, I know if I found a good deal, I could pitch it to 20 different people and I'd get 2 or 3 of them at least to invest. Right. If it's a good deal, all 20 of them might bid on it. But
right.
Or they might all invest in it. But anyway, I think if I didn't know anybody at all, the first thing I would do is find somebody in the game and start networking with that person, because then they know the other people. So like I know in the small towns where I invest, I know all the big
major
investors.
players. Yeah.
So like, if you're just starting out, you go find that one person. He's going to introduce you to 10 other people, and then if you got a deal, like those 10 people are going to come in there and look at that and like, hey, they're all business people. They want to grow too. So you're going to be able to, the money situation is like, if that's holding you up right now, that's not the place to be stuck.
Right. And that's good news. Because that's where most people have hangups. Like I said earlier, first people's like, I don't have the money. If that's your biggest concern, then you are in good shape.
Yeah, that's
and you don't even realize it, right?
Yeah.
You just need to be pointing in the right direction.
If that's your biggest concern, then you don't have the education. That's really what your hang up is. So
that is it. So what would be your entry point into networking with these people? Like I said, I know you said, try to work at some of their parts and stuff like that. But what if that wasn't an option? Like, how would you get in and even initiate a conversation with some of these people that are in the game like that? You see what I'm saying?
The more value you can add, the better.
Mm-hmm.
So like, in the towns where I invest, I have a lot of people who come by. We had the store in Jessup. We'd have a lot of people who come by there just to talk to me because they knew I had knowledge. So there was a lot of investors that I met who just came by. They would like show me their applications and like, hey, does this look like a good renter? What are your requirements? And I would tell them, what are you guys renting your 3 bedrooms for? What do you guys do when this situation comes up? How do you handle an eviction? All that kind of stuff. And I would always just try to give them as much information as possible. Like I never try to hold it. I think one of the things I like about real estate is that your competitors are not really competitors. Like you all are playing on the same team in a way.
That's good.
It's not in a negative way where you're trying to hurt somebody else. It's like, hey, we're all trying to help each other grow. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt me if you acquire another property. Right. I mean, we might bid against each other, but for the most part, like, it's not going to hurt me for your business to grow. You're not like stamping me out. Like you're not taking all the market share,
Right.
Because I still own my property, so it doesn't really matter. So like it doesn't hurt us to help each other in this industry. Whereas in some other industries, it might they might grow so big that they take all your customers from you. But that's not going to happen because we're still going to be competitive on pricing and different things like that. So like we're kind of holding each other in check in a way too. Mm-hmm. So it's a good thing, I think. We can all work together. And so that's one of the things that I would try to do if I didn't know anybody, but I still had my knowledge.
Right.
I would try to offer some of that knowledge to them for free. Like, hey, here's what I ran into in my property, in my apartments or my mobile homes or whatever. So like, if you're running into this issue, maybe I can help you with that. And then, the more value you can provide to people, the more value they're going to provide to you too.
And that's what it is. So to break down what it looks like to add value is you got to be able to solve problems.
Yeah, that is. I mean, in most business, that's the most valuable thing. The people at the top who are getting paid all the money, they have the hardest job because they're solving all the big problems.
Right. It don't matter how likable you are.
Yeah.
It don't matter what your resume. Like, are you a problem solver? Can you get it done? And that's what I tell people all the time, that you have to be a professional problem solver.
Yeah.
Right. I think another thing that I would do in the beginning as well to try to get into a networking group is those Facebook groups are very valuable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Those REI groups, real estate investment groups, just all kinds of little niches. Get in as many of those and just start just getting in there. Just do what you got to do because people talk. Once you're in their community, in their world, and they take you in and you have conversations, buy somebody some lunch, just whatever it is, and just see what you can do with those. Those things are so valuable. Search out those groups. That'd be one of the first things I do also as I'm trying to get all this other stuff going. Let me get in there and just kind of see what I can do, who I can connect with.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's I mean, it's invaluable, I think, to connect with other people who are doing what you want to do because you can all bounce ideas off each other. So like even if you're already in the game, you're doing, whatever, like you're not starting over, you still like it's so valuable to have a network of people to kind of collectively think through issues and figure out solutions to things.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Yeah.
Maybe use AI too. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. That last episode we talked about, if y'all missed it, y'all go check it out. They a little bit scared, low key, but so let me tell you a couple things I would not do. Right. Okay. If I was just getting started. All right. I still got my family and everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Yeah.
It's up to you.
All right. I would not get a Netflix subscription. You know what I'm saying? Type of thing.
Yeah.
I would I would not just. I would prioritize my learning. I would work for myself. So I would not. So here's the thing. Dave Ramsey says, "Live like no one else, so you can live like no one else." Mm-hmm. I would not schedule a whole bunch of vacation. If I'm starting all over and I'm trying to get it.
Yeah.
I would not be scheduling a whole bunch of vacation time. I won't be having a lot of waste. I won't have a lot of room for a lot of fat in my life.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't care about that stuff until I have freedom. I'm trying to work for my freedom. These other guys, they have these social media influencers, Earn Your Leisure. Those guys are really awesome. And I don't know a whole lot about them. I see some of the stuff. I like this stuff, but I just love the title, Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, and one of the things that just changed me, and I probably mentioned it before, was this one guy said, "What's the craziest thing you've ever done for money?" And the guy said, "Work 40 hours a week." Right. I was like, that's so. So he said, if you work 40 hours a week for yourself, how much more successful could you be? And that right there changed me. Right. So with that, when you have to go to work, it determines what time you go to bed. It determines what time you wake up. It determines how you move, flow, think. You revolve your whole world around your work schedule when you work for someone else. If you did that same thing for yourself. So with that being said, I would prioritize my time and go to work for myself, whether it be doing the research, networking with people, solving problems, just whatever the case, driving for dollars. I would not waste a lot of time trying to sit on my heels, twiddle my thumbs and stuff like that.
I agree. So this kind of brings me to something I've been thinking about recently. So I think there's a lot of people who mistake hard work with hustle. Those two things in my mind are different.
Hold on. You can't just gloss over that. You gotta say that again for the people in the back.
Yeah. So
that's a bar, bro.
Okay. So think about it like this: if you were starting over, a lot of people, what they would do, first thing they would do is go out and try to find a job, right? They try to go out and get a job and work really hard for somebody else, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I don't think you should equate that with what I would think of as hustle. So like what I was saying is I would leave my house as soon as possible in the morning, as soon as it's likely for me to find somebody awake. I would go knock on their door and convince them to buy whatever it is I'm selling. That's hustle. That's not the same thing as hard work in my mind.
That's good.
But that can get you a lot farther than hard work can. Now, you can work hard and do well. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to work hard whether you're hustling or not. But don't mistake hard work for hustle, because you can be working really hard and not be hustling. Those are two different things.
See, to me, that speaks. It's more of a strategy and hustle is a mindset to be a hustler. Like what's to do? I'm a hustler, baby. Anyway, so that's a mindset. It don't take a whole lot. Anybody, like you said, anyone can work. I can go outside and dig holes for 5 hours, 10 hours a day. That's working hard. That's not hustling.
Exactly.
So having a mindset of a hustler is so good, especially for like people in our age demographic. That kind of, when that word was a little bit more prevalent in our everyday vernacular, I think people understand what that means. It's like, I got to get it.
You got to go get it.
I got to go get it. Yeah. And like they say nowadays, secure the bag or something like that. I don't know what they say. I don't know.
That's for kids.
But that's good. That's a really good point right there.
Yeah. I think people mistake those two things. I think that's why a lot of people feel like they're going around in a circle. They're like, I'm working so hard, I'm not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
But you're not really hustling. You're not really going out and doing the things you need to do in order to be successful. So,
gosh, that's good. I'm gonna have to let that resonate for a little bit. I'm gonna have to let that marinate. It's like, I want to get all the meat off the bone on that. Hustling and hard work.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. So the whole time you would be hustling, right?
Exactly. I would start with that first. Like, you can always work hard, but like, I know that I can, whatever it is I decide to sell, whether it's my product or somebody else's or service, I would start with the service if I was starting over, because it's pretty much free most of the time. You might need a tool or something, but for the most part, you can go out and sell a service.
Yeah.
So like, I would go out and make somebody buy it. That's it. Like, that's my whole goal. In the beginning, if you got to, go out and get food, then go out and sell something, go out and figure out how you can add value to somebody's life and convince them that it's valuable. So
I ran into this guy the other day. He was a salesman, right? Outside in front of a gas station. I don't know if I told this on the past episode or not. Don't really matter.
A salesman in front of a gas station. That's a drug dealer.
Yeah. So. It was daytime, and he had products out in front.
Or a pimp.
That's
I'm not
funny.
sure which one.
Oh, okay. This conversation has turned. So I saw him, and he was selling one of those wash your car in a can type of kits.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And I was like, I ain't buying nothing from this dude. So then I was waiting for him. I was like, okay, I'm gonna look at him, we'll speak to him and everything, but I'm doing. So I walked by him. He ain't saying nothing to me. I was like, this dude's soft.
He's soft.
He don't even deserve the tea. He's soft, bro. Right? So then I was like, yeah, whatever. So I walked back by, and I noticed he was watching me. I was like, yeah, he's off. So I walked back by, and then I put the gas thing, gauge, whatever it's called, tank, I don't know what it's called, into my truck.
Okay.
And then he came over when I couldn't go nowhere. I was like, okay, this dude's smart.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
so here's the thing. Okay. He knew that
he had some strategy in
he
there.
did. He knew that if I was walking in the store, either I had to go to the bathroom, I'm trying to buy something. You know what I'm saying? Like my priority.
You're gonna blow him off.
Yeah. And right. And he knew that how I would come back.
RDR right there.
Yeah.
The RDR.
He knew I had to come by and see him again.
Yeah.
Right. So he was patient, right?
Yep.
But
Smart.
I already knew he had a mindset of a hustler because he was watching me. First of all, he was even set up out there. It takes a lot of boldness to be out there to be like a guerrilla warfare salesman like that.
Yeah.
A guerrilla salesman just out like, whew, a lot of respect. So I stuck my thing in there, right? Started pumping the gas. Hey man, what year is this truck? No, that's not what he said. He was like, did you get one? I was like, get what?
Smart. That is so smart. I love that as an intro right there. That's awesome.
I was like, get what? Got me. You know what I'm saying? Just
yep. That's a hook.
Right. And he was like, I'm glad you asked.
Yep.
Right?
glad you asked.
Right. He was like, check this out. He was like, you ever need to wash your truck? I was like, yeah, who don't need to wash their truck? He was like, check. And he's saying this smooth stuff. He's like, if you don't mind, and he started spraying his stuff, and he gave me the can. He's like, hold this for me real quick. Put the product in my hand.
Yep.
Right. Started cleaning the truck and everything, going through his whole spiel and stuff. And the dude was really smooth. So then, long story short, I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna get it. You know, So I walked back over to his table, and I was like, how much for a can? He was like, $20. He was like, you know what? I'll give you 2 for $30. I was like, cool. He was like, but wait, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, there's more, right? And he kept. So this is where the real hustle came in. He said, all right, how many cars you got in your driveway? He's like, I see you got a ring on and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, okay. You know, he was like, I know your wife likes to have her car clean. You know what I'm saying? You can't come home with a clean car. She's going to expect you to clean her car. You got kids? You can show them how to do it. What about the interior? You know what I'm saying? Like, all this, bro, I was like, this dude is good.
That's
I was
awesome.
Like, give me one of everything you got. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wait.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so he got me. But here's the thing. That dude, to me, was a hustler. Right? He was up there. This was like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Here's the thing. He's probably working hard too, but he's hustling. How much money do you think he made in a day?
Shit, I spent like $120. You know what I'm saying?
He probably made 10 or 20 of those sales in a day.
Yeah. So he got up there early.
He's probably in the 1% right now.
Maybe
He might be.
He might have a house in Zimbabwe somewhere. You know, who knows? And he told me he lived in Jacksonville. I was like, oh, okay, what part of Jacksonville? He's like, this dude, North Carolina. Oh, okay, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Okay, bruh. Anyway, but yeah, I respected the hustle.
Yeah,
and he was working hard.
Yep.
And everything, but to me, that's what I see when I see people hustling, getting up there, doing what you, because that's what I want to extract from what you said. Doing what you have to do, doing whatever it is you have to do to make the sale.
Yep.
Right. And I can tell he was a studied man. He was smooth. He had an answer for everything. He had a whole it wasn't just a fly by the seat of my pants. You know, it was a whole thing. And I really appreciate, and he sold me, you know.
That's awesome.
So,
I love that.
Yeah,
so my wife, who's in the studio audience today, will tell you that I fall for those guys all the time.
Yes.
Not because I want to buy their product, but because I like their pitch. So like I will always listen to a salesperson if they come around. Most of the time I'm not going to buy it, but if they're really good, like I don't care what it is. I just I respect the hustle. So like she got mad at me because I bought 3 vacuums from one guy.
Oh my gosh, what? For how many properties?
Well, for my house and my school. So, it's commercial. They, they're nice vacuums. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, I really don't have room to talk because I bought pet insurance and I didn't even have a dog. And he had no animals.
I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah, so the dude, he got me. He was good.
Yeah,
you know? Anyway, then I later got a dog to justify it. So
that's awesome.
Anyway, man. But yeah, I really wanted to hear about like I said, watching that show, watching a little excerpt of that and everything, it just got me thinking. If you lost it all,
yeah, what would you do?
And had to do it from scratch. And the main thing that I hear, and what I saw from Grant Cardone was he was able to do it very quickly. He got it.
But think about how he did it. He did it by networking. If you remember, he went to a business, talked to the owner. That owner turned out not to be the big businessman in town, but he got connected with the big businessman, and that's how he did his stuff.
there has to be a level of you have to be courageous also.
Yeah.
Right. And and that's why it's very important also to get educated, because I think a lot of people are afraid to do a lot of things because they don't want to be unprepared and caught with their pants down, right?
Yeah.
But if there's something that you know and that you're willing to stand on, then you're going to have a lot more confidence, a lot more assurance about yourself, and a lot more boldness. So he was pursuing the top dog in the area. I don't know a whole lot of people unless you're confident that you know who you are and you know what you're trying to do.
That's right.
Because I think innately we all are very respectful of other people's time, especially people that we deem to be important. Yeah. You know, so like take yourself as serious as you see other people, right?
Yeah.
And take your life as serious as that. But yeah, he did network and everything, and it was really cool to see that process, to see him make it happen. You know.
Yeah, it was. It was cool.
Stuff. Yeah.
All right, man.
It is.
Cut it off.